Hello everyone, welcome back to myrsilife.com. Once again, I'm your host Mitch, and today we've got the sequel to the smash hit that came out last year, Top 5 Hands-Free Computer Tips for RSI. Here are 5 more awesome strategies for getting work done on the computer without using your hands. My first tip number 1, is a gadget. This is a foot switch or foot pedal. This thing has become very useful in my work from home desk setup. There are many similar options for programmable foot pedal products. I prefer this one. It's called the iKegel PC USB triple foot switch pedal, and link of course is in the description. Okay, let's open up this driver software and show you how it works. So this is it. There's instructions included with the device, of course. So you can tell this is driver software for all sorts of gadgets. This is the one that we have. It's the 3-button one. So left key, I want it to be down. Middle key, I want it to be right click. No, not middle mouse click. So you can just hit the key. That's what I'm doing, is I'm hitting the key when I select the button. As well, notice whichever menu you click, it will be queued for input. So I'll click, right mouse button or down. You can input a string, you can input multimedia, like volume, open also whichever default apps they have on here, and then some options for gaming if you need to do that. So notice too, it's assuming that I want to change it when I make these menu surfing changes. So make sure before you exit that you just have your settings the way you want them. I'm going to save to the key. All right. That's it. Let's get on to tip number 2, and that is to make batch files open up multiple apps and or web pages at once. And with a few simple lines of code that I'm going to show you how to do, you can open any of the websites and programs you need at the same time by opening a single file. Batch files are level 1 in the skill tree of computer automation, along with, fingerprint or biometric logins like we talked about last video, and some other things we'll talk about later in this video. It's all really cool stuff, but I'm still on level 1. I'm still learning. So I'm really excited to keep doing that and keep showing you what's working and keep talking with you about how we can make it work better. Okay, we are ready to make a batch file. So for this simple step, our goal or our requirement, or if you work in the tech industry, our user story is such. I, the computer user, need to open Spotify in the web browser and Microsoft Outlook simultaneously and activated by a single click or double click. So I encourage you to follow along here. I'm going to write this batch for you live on the video, and I'm basically using my whole setup to do this. My whole hands-free setup, I mean. So you can see in the top of my screen, I've got Dragon Dictation. I'm going to be using my foot mouse, my foot pedal, which I just demoed, and if my hands are feeling up to it, I might use my stylus mouse. First thing we need to do is open up our notes. Wake up, open Notepad, go to sleep. Okay, so I actually have this code already written out, and I'm going to copy paste it. I will put this on my website too and link it below so that you can copy paste it too. There's only one line here that you can't copy paste, and we will cover that. Wake up, press Control C, list all windows, choose 6. Choose 6. Press Control V, go to sleep. Okay, so let's review what each of these lines does. This is kind of geeky, so I'll try to break it down in ways that everybody can understand. Title is a command. Anything you see in caps here on the left, or even lower caps here, this one, these are commands. And title, obviously, will be the title. And when you run this batch file, the window that pops up will flash the title. So we're running the work desk setup. That's what I decided to name this. You don't have to have a title. This is an optional step. Then start. Start is a required step. Start obviously starts whatever follows that command. So we are starting this website, Spotify.com, in our default web browser. Our default web browser happens to be Chrome. When we run this batch file, you'll see how that is able to run. Then CD. This technically means change directory. I'm not sure why they call it change directory, because in my mind, what this is doing is telling the computer, hey, look here and then wait for another command. And it's kind of like navigate to here instead of change directory. The verb change doesn't really make sense to me. So anyway, you're going to grab the file path. And after I save this batch file, I will show you where to grab this file path. This is the one thing that you can't copy paste from my website for the most part. The program that you choose will have its own unique file path on your device. So we'll get there when I'm done with this demo here. So then again, we see this start command, and we want to start Outlook.exe. That is the program, and we've told the computer that program lives here. So find it and then start it. Then exit will close your batch file dialog window. Before we do this, before we save it as a batch file, which is another important step, I do want to show you how to get this program path. So let's go down here. You can use your search, type it in here. Outlook happens to be right here. So all you need to do is right click, open file location, and then right click again on your program, of course. Properties, here it is, target. Notice it's already in double quotes. You may be able to see this double quote character. If you go to the beginning, again, there's another double quote character. So this is ready to copy paste. This is ready to paste into your batch file. So you can highlight the whole thing and press copy. All right, we get it. So then we want to save as. So here's our window that pops up. I already have it navigated to batch scripts, fortunately, but whatever file you need or whatever folder you need to put it in, go ahead and put it there. Your file name, this is a critical step. You need to put the string .bat at the end of your batch file names. So let's go ahead and do that. Wake up, test batch script .bat. Press tab. Press down. Press down. Press enter. Go to sleep. Okay, so we've named it, we've added .bat to the end of it, we've saved it as type all files. Let's click save. Okay, close it up. We are going to test this out now. Should be everything we need. We'll go to my folder. Let's run it. Wake up. Click test batch script. Press enter. Go to sleep. So check it out. We opened Spotify and Outlook. We did exactly what we wanted to do. So here's Spotify in our default web browser. And of course, here's Outlook. Pretty awesome. So that's basically the end of this batch file demo. I will put a link in the description to at least one article that really helped me kick off my learning of batch files. Tip number 3 is to choose which programs and files you want to run on startup. So humans by their nature tend to stick with the default. It's pretty easy to assume that the way your computer works when you take it out of the box is just the way that it works. But in fact, computers have programs on them that run on startup by default, and these programs were chosen by the computer manufacturers. Or if it's a company laptop, it was in a lot of cases chosen by the company's IT team. Fortunately, we can improve our own efficiency and user experience by choosing which apps we want the computer to run on startup. Okay, I again have a simple example. This requirement can be stated as when the computer boots up, it should automatically open Dragon Dictation and the folder containing batch files. But again, as you're following along, consider your own needs and be creative with what programs you want to run on startup. We need to start by turning off any apps we do not want to run on startup. So there's several ways to do this. I'm just going to show you one quick way to do it. Basically open up your start menu and then type in startup. There it is, startup apps. Grab that. And here are all the apps that are eligible for run on startup or not. So we just want to make sure that anything is off that we don't need. As well, you could, turn on any of the apps you need if you see them on here. Not all of our apps are on here. I'm not exactly sure why, which is why we have to take an extra step. I wish every single app on our computer was listed here. For whatever reason, Windows doesn't want to do that. So after you've taken this step and switched anything off that you don't want to start on startup, we're going to now open a hidden folder called the startup folder. And so we do that in now step 2. We are using the shortcut Windows R, and this is the run dialog. So you can see that my text is already in here, but you just need to type this in, shell:startup with no spaces or anything, and then click OK. And this is going to open up our startup folder. So you can see in my startup folder, you can follow the breadcrumb trail here. I already have a shortcut to Dragon and a shortcut to my batch scripts folder in here. It's pretty easy to do that. You just create a shortcut. You could put it on your desktop. You could put it in the same folder as your program, and then cut and paste it into this startup folder. So let's just keep this open. I'll, for this example, put Outlook in the folder. So let's go ahead. We're going to open file location. Same as we did in the step before. Here it is. We can right click again. Then we want to show more options. And here it is, create shortcut. So sometimes it'll give you this. Yeah, go ahead and put it on the desktop for me, Windows. Thank you. So now here it is on the desktop. It's a shortcut. It's not the program itself. We're just going to Control X, come back to our startup folder, and Control V. Now the shortcut to Outlook is in our startup folder. We don't have to do anything else. Outlook will now automatically run when we boot up our computer. So you can go ahead and test this when you're done. It'll be a little hard for me to test because I'd need to shut down my computer. But some things to keep in mind here too are don't put too many things in here to run on startup. It'll slow down your startup the more things you have in here. So in fact, I'm actually going to remove Outlook. I don't always need Outlook. Hey, be deleted. Okay, so that is a basic example of how to choose which apps you want to run on startup. Tip number 4 is to use a password manager. Password managers are an amazing time saver and overuse injury prevention strategy. Over a career, just imagine how many hours a person can spend just typing in passwords. We talked about passwords a little bit in the last video too. A password manager browser plugin like LastPass, 1Password, and many others will automatically fill in your usernames and passwords. And it also suggests strong passwords and then saves them automatically when you create new accounts or change your passwords. So this is a load off your mind as well as your hands. I currently use LastPass Premium, which costs $3 per month, and it allows me to access my passwords and my accounts on all of my devices. That's the benefit of the paid version. Very worth it for me, but it might not have to cost money for you though, because oftentimes your employer's information security team may recommend a certain password manager. So go ahead and ask them, your manager or your IT department, if they have a recommendation for a password manager. Last but not least, we have tip number 5, and that is to hire someone to help you do computer tasks. It has never been easier to find and hire just about any type of virtual freelance work. Data entry, research, scheduling, video editing, marketing, and website design are all examples of services offered by freelancers all over the world. Websites like Fiverr and Upwork are like kind of a global Craigslist for anyone who wants to offer their professional services. How do you suppose I've managed to create this website and YouTube channel while I'm recovering from computer-related RSI and not really interested in using a keyboard? I hired some amazing people to help me do it. Now, I understand that there is a cost associated with hiring talent, but it might not be as much as you think, especially if you live in the US. But with any expense associated with your RSI recovery, it's important to budget and set goals and to be as successful as possible. And I don't want to be insensitive to the folks who may not be able to afford hiring someone just yet. But that may be a goal that you could put on your list and do later. Now, big question for me is it possible to set something like this up to help you be more effective in the workplace? It might be. I'm not quite sure yet. If you are open with your employer about your accommodation needs, then a computer input assistant maybe something that you can ask for. I haven't made this work for myself yet. Last year I asked my workers' comp doctor if this could be an accommodation. I asked my employer if this could be an accommodation back when I was employed. And nobody's been too keen on it yet, but I want to keep asking. I've been interviewing and I asked folks, hiring managers if this could be an accommodation. So it might catch on. I'm just going to keep asking until it catches on. Thank you so much for watching. I would love to hear your ideas and feedback on your unique computer desk setups for using a computer hands-free. I hope you learned something today and I hope you enjoyed.